Nigeria, with a population of over 200 million people, says independents rely on government to lay the foundation for business to thrive in order to sustain a vibrant economy. As a country, we rely on diesel and petrol majorly to carry out our day-to-day activities. In transportation, power generation, health, agriculture, etc., even in our daily activities, we rely directly or indirectly on petrol availability. To make it accessible to the masses, the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria introduced petrol subsidy, having it in mind that many Nigerians cannot purchase fuel at the international rate. Over the years, subsidy of petroleum products have been a huge burden for the government of the nation. To aid this burden, the petroleum sector was deregulated. This led to the removal of subsidy from kerosene and diesel. But the country was still struggling with fuel subsidy running into trillions of naira. Several administrations have talked about removal of subsidies from petrol to no avail due to the resistance posed by concerned Nigerians. But on May 29, 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took the bull by the horn and announced the removal of petrol subsidy, putting to rest the palaver occasioned by subsidy removal. To delve into the history of subsidy in Nigeria, it's good to have a clear-cut definition of the word subsidy. Subsidy refers to the government paying a portion of the price that should be paid by customers in order to alleviate the burden of consumers. Indirect subsidies cause subsidized items to be purchased at below market prices. In this practice, the government sets the price of gasoline, petrol, diesel at a lower level than the international rate and pays the difference. If petrol subsidies are removed, for instance, it implies that the pump price will be determined solely by global market trends of demand and supply. Subsidy was implemented in Nigeria in 1970s in reaction to 1973 oil price shock. The shock scenario caused a global spike in oil prices, and if international rates were adopted, Nigeria would have paid more, requiring the government to limit local pricing for energy items. Subsidies in Nigeria were established through a directive that was later approved in 1977. Nigeria has spent over 10 trillion naira on fuel subsidy in 14 years. The highest spent on subsidy in the years under review was in 2011 with a total of 2.105 trillion naira. In 2020, it is the year with the lowest amount spent on subsidy with a total of 102 billion naira, followed by 2017 with 144.5 billion naira, and no amount was recordedly spent in 2016. The Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency International, for instance, believes that between 2005 to 2021, the country spent $7.38 billion, which translates to 13.697 trillion naira. The history of fuel subsidy in Nigeria dates back to April 1985, when Ibrahim Babangida government raised the price of a liter of fuel from 15.3 kobo to 20 kobo. It did it again on March 31, 1986, from 20 kobo to 39.5 kobo. On April 10, 1988, from 39.5 kobo to 42 kobo per liter. On January 1, 1989, they increased the price from 42 kobo to 60 kobo. The increment was targeted at private vehicle. For commercial vehicle, it was 42 kobo per liter. On December 19, 1989, it moved to a uniform price of 60 kobo. On March 6, 1991, the price of a liter of fuel was increased from 60 kobo to 70 kobo, and that was the price when he stepped aside in August 1993. Chief Ernest Shoika administration increased the price of a liter of fuel from 70 kobo to 5 naira per liter on November 8, 1993, but a hectic and chaotic mass protest saw Abacha take over power. The incoming Abacha regime reduced the increment to 3 naira 25 kobo on November 22, 1993. On October 2, 1994, the Abacha junta increased the price of fuel to 15 naira from 3 naira 25 kobo. But after mass protest, the regime reduced the increment to 11 naira per liter on October 4, 1994. That was the price till Abacha passed on, and Abdusalami Abubakar caretaker regime raised the price from 11 naira to 25 naira per litre on December 20, 1998. And after days of sustained protest by Nigerians, it was forced to reduce the increment for 20 kobo on January 6, 1999. The Obasanjo's presidency adopted fuel subsidy as the bedrock of its economic policy for no sooner than it was sworn in than it effected an increment to 30 naira per litre on June 1, the year 2000. But protests and mass rejection forced it to reduce the increment to 25 naira per litre on June 8, 2000, and further down to 22 naira per litre on June 13, 2000. The regime was again to increase the price to 26 naira per litre on January 1, 2002, and again to 40 naira per litre on June 23, 2003. It was to raise it up to 70 naira per litre by the time he left in May 2009, but the incoming Yar'Adua administration reduced it to 65 naira per litre after general protest against the new price regime. In January 2012, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan increased the pump price of petrol from 65 naira per litre to 141 naira per litre, but it was forced to reduce it to 97 naira per litre due to labor strike. In January 2015, due to fall in crude oil price in the international market, the federal government slashed the pump price of petrol from 97 naira per litre to 87 naira per litre. Finally, on May 11, 2016, President Muhammadu Buhari announced that the federal government would no longer be paying any subsidy on oil. The price was therefore increased from 87 naira per litre to 145 naira per litre. In November 2020, Buhari increased fuel pump price to 170 naira per litre amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. With this latest hike, petrol price has increased by 4 times in 2020. It has risen from 121 naira 50 kobo per litre to 123 naira 50 kobo per litre in June, and 114 naira 80 kobo per litre to 143 naira 80 kobo per litre in July, and between 148 naira to 150 naira per litre in the month of August. Following the regulation of petrol prices in September 2020, marketers across the country adjusted their pump prices to reflect the increase in global oil prices. There was a further hike in price of petrol by Petroleum Product Marketers Company, a subsidiary of the federal government-owned Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, increased the ex-depot price of petrol for 147 naira 67 kobo per litre to 155 naira 17 kobo per litre. The ex-depot price is the price at which the product is sold by PPMC to marketers at the depot. It should be recorded that the landing cost of petrol at 128 naira 89 kobo per litre, up from 119 naira 77 kobo per litre in September and October. It said the estimated minimum pump price of the product would increase to 161 naira 36 kobo per litre from 153 naira 86 kobo per litre. Following the regulation of petrol prices in September, marketers across the country adjusted their pump prices to between 158 naira per litre and 162 naira per litre to reflect increase in global oil prices. In the later part of Buhari's administration, petrol pump price after the regulation went up as high as 230 naira per litre to 250 naira per litre. Some independent marketers sell as high as 350 naira per litre depending on urban-rural distance. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja on May 29, 2023 during his inauguration announced the removal of subsidy payment on petrol. A few days later, market prices of petrol now increase from 500 naira per litre to as large as 550 naira per litre, depends on the distance from the dispensing depot. Ever since then, the prices of commodities has risen by as much as 200% in some parts of the country. This has also led to an astronomical increase in transportation fares across the country. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a meeting, directed the National Economic Council led by Vice President Kazim Shettima to devise an approach and begin the process of working on interventions to mitigate the impact of subsidy removal on Nigerians. The Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria expressed solidarity with the president for removing the 4 trillion naira subsidy burden. Even the governors of various states in the federation supported the removal of subsidy from petrol. Let's feel the pulse of Nigerians on this matter.
I believe that every economy has its own peculiarity, and at some point government must find or must discover where it needs to mitigate the impact of a particular policy on the people, and that's what we call subsidy, by way of coming halfway to meet the people instead of spending all their resources and yet the result may not be achieved. Petroleum product is one sector, it's one product that affects all the nooks and crannies from the top to the bottom. Because as it affects you in the city, so it affects our grandmothers in the village. As it affects the big man running an aircraft, that is the same way it affects the Okada man, who is also into commercial industry with petroleum business. So, but the situation has changed now. The whole system has collapsed. Government has failed. Government has lost its will. So the only way now is to pull it off the entire system so that the reality will be done on us. For all that said there was no subsidy, they were right. For all that said they were gimmick, they were corruption, they were all right. For what we are seeing now, even though some of us in the industry saw it this way, we know it was not possible for Nigeria to be consuming the quantity, millions of liters that we claim to be consuming. It's not possible. He said that somebody is under measuring, somebody is not taking the correct stock, or somebody is overinflating figures somewhere. The rest about it around history. It certainly is good, is hitting the masses, the Nigerian masses, very, very hard. Because all sectors of the economy are tied, are connected to this petroleum, as means of transporting goods, means of survival. So it's going to be tough on the people. And now we will be appealing to the people to have a resilient approach. The reason is this: if any government tells you they have the magic wand right now to provide the palliative that will cushion or mitigate the impact of the people, it is not. Because like the previous administration, I wanted to target about 50 million. What is the percentage of 50 million, on the people that is over 200 million? Everybody feel the impact of this subsidy removal.
The removal of subsidy, the thing is in two ways. One, the removal is a benefit to the country as a nation. Two, the removal has brought suffering to the life of Nigerians. It is quite very unfortunate that a country like Nigeria, subsidy is being introduced to cushion the cost of petroleum products in Nigeria. But unfortunately, some cabals hijack this thing as a means of defrauding the nation. And the most painful thing is that people, it is human beings that are actually into this fraud, because they are not ghosts. And maybe because of the power that's been, these people are not being able to bring the book or to challenge them. So I feel the president just say, okay, well, instead of challenging these persons, the best is to stop this completely. But unfortunately now, it now become a pain on the citizen. You see, a lot of countries subsidize so many things. Well, in our own case, it's fuel. Some countries subsidize agricultural product. But Nigeria being a corrupt as we are, some people are making this nation through this money that comes from subsidy. You can imagine the same fuel that are being brought into this country. Some people smuggle this fuel into neighboring countries and start selling this fuel. At the end of the day, the country will pay the subsidies to the detriment of so well, it's painful, but unfortunately, we have nothing to do at this moment. But my prayer, my concern is that this money that is being spent for subsidy, if the government can put the money in the right place to cushion the effect of this suffering in Nigerians. But secondly, we also ask ourselves a question that an oil-producing nation like Nigeria, where we have refineries that have been down for so many years, how can we be exchanging our crude oil for importation of finished product fuel from abroad? All this is also brought into the correction. So I am of the opinion that if the present administrator is going to do something, they should do something on how to restore our refineries back. Because if our refinery is working on the full capacity, the idea of subsidizing for a fuel that is being imported will not be there. So if our with our crude oil and if the refineries are working at full capacity, yes, the cost of petroleum product will come down. Well, it's a pain on us, on everybody. Nobody is exempted because before you can even fuel your car now, you have to think twice. Then secondly, I did not see how much minimum wage the government is going to increase that will be equal to the effect of petroleum product in the nation. So well, I hope that this government will do something in the right direction without fear and favor of those cabal who have put this country in where we are.
The term subsidy will remain in the mind of Nigerians or in the heart of Nigeria for a very long time, like the last time we experienced ETSAS. So even the least educated person know what subsidy is all about now. The meaning is very clear. At least for petrol subsidy, it has been able to expose what the meaning subsidy is all about. But well, as a Nigerian, I am arrangement. It's so painful. It's something you may not be able to talk about because it's hitting hard in every part of the country, and whether you try to talk like an expert or you try to give the average Nigerian cannot imagine buying petrol for 500 naira and above. That is so. Whatever we'll be doing to ensure that palliatives are given and all of that, it should be jarred not just to improve their welfare, or it should be jarred towards ensuring that that price does not even get up to 200 naira at the end of the day. We should be able to promise Nigerians as a serious government to say, well, this is going to be temporary. What we are giving to you as a word implies palliative may not last for more than 5-6 months. We are very sure this and this, if we do like this, in the next 5-6 months, we will get petrol at 150, even less than 200 naira. If we're able to tell them that and we stick to that, I'm sure it's very realizable, because we are not talking about a commodity that is out of the shores of Nigeria. It's our own gods, whatever. It's a natural resources everywhere. There are even some on tap ones. And from Akoko Edo, it might interest you to know that there's a community called Ekpe. If you go there, the primary school has been deserted. As you try to walk around, you will see real crude coming out of the ground. So we have it in abundance. So if we have a serious government, of course, you would have done what you call a seismic analysis on that place. Even if you do an analysis, do you have what it even take to begin to drill the ones that we have left in Bonny and everywhere, So it's like that. So, but I don't think we should have a problem. We should not be talking about what the dollar has done, what it's going to do. Dollar cannot affect what God gave to us naturally. It should only affect when we are exporting to at that international level.
Subsidy removal is a bold step taken by the current president. Though it's not easy for him to announce it, but I know it's a bold step. Definitely for now, the masses are not happy. We all are not happy. Maybe because of the way he pronounced it, by not putting a palliative measure before announcing it. But however it may, I know that each and everyone will benefit it. Remove the subsidy, allowing the depot. It will allow our depot to function for now. Because the depot that had been done before, I know because of the subsidy, our depot was not functioning. Maybe importing of fuel and here and there. As Peter Obi may say, he said it's an organized crime. But now that the subsidy is being removed, I know the depot will function, whether good or bad. And secondly, it will create employment for the people, and it will give most of those downstream marketers the avenue to import fuel to the country. At least when there is competition in the market, the price will definitely go down. And if our depot is functioning well, things will work out fine. The masses will benefit it. Before we learned that we are consuming about 69 million liters of fuel daily, but now It's about 13 million liters that we are now consuming. But what we are expecting the government to do is to put palliative measures in place. Construct good roads. Create avenue whereby at least that put things that will ease the suffering of the masses. More so, let our refineries, the 4 refineries be functioning. Also encourage the modular refinery to function. Find out why these refineries are not functioning. Empower them the way they empower Dangote refinery. If one man can stand and build a big refinery, then this is our modular refinery that is in place. It should be encouraged to also produce what? Petroleum products.
My advice to Nigerians now is for us to hold on, wait, and see what will come. Because for a new Nigeria to emerge, we must pay a price. It cannot just come up like that and things will just, be okay. We need to do, because before gold can become gold, it has to pass through fire. And I believe that God Almighty will make this government now to be government of the people and for the people. And this fuel subsidy that is being removed will be used for the good of Nigeria and not from certain cabal in this country. I pray for a new Nigeria, a peaceful Nigeria. Where there is love, then will be a brother's keeper. There will be no killing. There will be no bloodshed. We will work together.
Although the hardship is much anyway, but when you want to look at it, the both sides, maybe at the end, we'll smile. But I won't lie you, the hardship is much, very, very much.
Mega station is 511 naira per liter. And it's as if everything you are getting on a daily basis, you are giving it back to filling station. You take little or nothing home. So each time you enter filling station, you are coming out angry. So even when passenger trying, if the passenger did not approach you very well, the way you talk to them is as if you had personal issue with them. So it has not been easy. If there's anything they can do to cushion this effect, we will appreciate.
Are you happy about it?
Not at all, because our take-home has actually dropped drastically.
It has not been an easy task for mostly the publicans. But at the overall this thing, I believe the government meant well for the people. We just pray that the government should use the money gained from the subsidy rightly to the educational sector and the health sector. But the idea is a welcome idea. But what the masses are facing, that is what is our problem, because it has affected other products. Mostly the domestic, they are so short. So already, from what we heard, the president has another agenda to see how best they can implement the minimum wage for the masses. If that is done, at least could cushion the effect and help and alleviate the poverty rate in the country.
The subsidy removal is terrible. Government should do something about it, because every day I spend 4,000 on petrol, and it's hell. Is it that they need to reduce it at least like 280 so that it will be affordable for the Nigerians? Every day people spend 5,000 on petrol, and it's hell. In fact, it's hell.
Though it's painful that the fuel subsidy official have really affected the citizens of Nigeria, but we are used to pains in this country. Since the leaders, they are not ready to really help us out, but by the grace of God, we'll see through. Normal, it's just for 5,000 I bought now. 5,000 before used to be almost 21 liter, but now it's 9 liter something, almost 10 liter. You can see the big difference, which is 520 or 521 naira a liter. It's painful because of the hardship too. I think the new government need to look into the matter and see how they can really be of help to the citizens. That's the only thing I say about it. If they are not helpful, I believe the way it's going is going to be a big disaster more than that of diesel. That's what I say. Nothing else. There's nothing really more to say because it's not encouraging.
Some of the opinions that the removal of subsidy from petrol will save the nation from collapsing. Others of the opinion that its removal without putting putting in place various palliative to cushion the effect of a removal will spell doom for the masses. Whichever way you view it, for now there is no subsidy, and Nigerians should do their best to live within their means, cut off unnecessary spending, remain calm, and pray for this administration to steer the country in the right direction of economic growth and socio-political stability. Wilson Omasho reporting.